What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Shout out to everyone who's stopping by the podcast here to spend a little time with us, going over some updates in the cannabis world across the United States. Actually, across the world, we got a couple interesting topics today. I want to touch base on again as our session is closed at the Wisconsin political level. That's where they got us rocking. Is staying up to date with some stuff going across the nation. There's been some rumblings in the state, nothing official yet, so we'll keep you posted on that as far as some Delta 8 and all that fun stuff goes. We'll see what they got going on. We got Randy in the house right away. Thanks for swinging by, Roy. Appreciate you, boss. Appreciate both you guys spending your little bit of time here with us this evening. Before we get started, I always love to give a huge shout out to the people who make this happen. Shout out to our friends at Higher Love. If you're making that trip up north, make sure you check them out. Use that promo code, get you 50% off your first purchase. Hopefully, once you get to check out the product, the quality, get served deli style with your flowers, smell it before you buy it. I think you'll be hooked as far as product goes. And again, they're all across the UP. And then when you're looking at Wisconsin, highly recommend the folks over at Ignite Dispensary down here to my right. Great staff there. We got legal product for Wisconsin. Still going to be effective, and their drink game is on point. You won't find a better selection of drinks for sure as far as the spectrum that drinks cover. Shout out to them. They're located in Milwaukee, Spooner, Hayward, Superior, Manitowoc, and New Richmond. Heath, what's up, man? Thanks for swinging by. Mohican, what's up, buddy? Thanks for swinging out. Guys, hopefully your week's winding down, enjoying your cannabis safely, and looking forward to a good weekend. So we'll touch base on a couple of things this evening. It might be a quicker one. We'll see how things shake out. Nothing wrong with that. But always like to check in. I think this is a guy that is the closest to our friend Robin Voss as far as his way of thinking. For those of you who've been checking out the show here the last couple of weeks, DeSantis from Florida shares a lot of similar views as some of the Republicans here in Wisconsin. Didn't mean to make it that big. So I want to touch base on this. I thought it was interesting. I saw earlier in the week that DeSantis, the governor of Florida, who has been pushing again. Whoa, what happened to that screen? That was weird. Hopefully it's still there now. He had been pushing against legalization, even though the people got enough signatures to get it on the ballot, all that kind of stuff. He's been a very hard opponent to legalization. And then I saw there was a bill that they were working on in Florida that was going to ban a lot of hemp products, and thought for sure that'd be a slam dunk once it got to his desk because, it's cannabis. Well, I saw that he didn't approve that, so I thought that was interesting. Well, it came out today a little bit more about that. And it looks like he vetoed the hemp ban bill in part to engage industry in marijuana legalization opposition campaign. He wants the hemp people on his side saying, hey, we don't need to legalize. We've got hemp. That's what it sounds like. I'll go into this here just a little bit. Looks like he tactically acknowledged that part of the reason he recently vetoed a bill to ban intoxicating hemp products was because he hopes the industry will aid in his campaign opposing a marijuana legalization ballot initiative. There it is. The report was that the governor rejected the hemp legislation to earn the industry's favor. DeSantis was asked on Wednesday to weigh in on his rationale. He stated that by saying the legislation had some problems that would have disrupted an industry that was intentionally made legal in the state. He also noticeably conceded that he believes the marijuana industry wanted this hemp bill to pass, and he took that into account when making his executive decision. So just another legal state that's got the cannabis, the potential quote-unquote marijuana to most people, the marijuana versus hemp. It seems like when the intoxicating hemp gets banned, it's usually in states that are legal for marijuana, so it's usually assumed they want that shut down. Wow, it's really messing with my hair and how it looks on the green screen today. I did shower today, and my hair is not all messed up. I promise you that, folks. Don't believe everything the computer shows you. The hemp and marijuana debate is still an ongoing topic, it sounds like. He's quoted here saying, some of these people that are funding the marijuana, they come in when we did the medical marijuana, which I implemented because the voters passed it. And they said, we don't believe in recreation. We just want to do medical. We think it can help alleviate pain or whatever, he said. And those same people that were saying that are now trying this amendment. So it is a lot of back and forth between the two, especially in Wisconsin. It, it shouldn't be a battle. In my opinion, it should just be you got to have some regulation on the hemp industry, which right now there is none. There are good products out there. It's still sometimes concerning that there's no checks and balances in those systems. It'd be nice to see a little more testing done on the products that you're consuming, that kind of stuff. So I think just setting up some kind of guidance on hemp regulation and work that in with your legalization. I mean, we're talking cannabis. At the end of the day, they're both cannabis. Let's figure out something that makes sense. Excuse me. There is good hemp derived products out there. I think they have a place, and I think we have a lot of great businesses across Wisconsin that are doing it the right way. I don't think we need to remove them. I think we just need to get them working together. When we go legal with cannabis, marijuana, whatever we want to call it, wherever you're at on that topic, just need to work together. Hemp and cannabis, in my opinion, should be part of the same initiative that are going to be watching the product out there. So whether it's a lot of states have like a cannabis or some kind of a council to oversee the cannabis in their state. So I think the two go hand in hand. It was interesting to see that it would appear to be why DeSantis vetoed. Again, he seems very much aligned with Robin Vos, who seems to be the one in control of the political side of cannabis in Wisconsin. So we will always keep an eye on DeSantis and try to read him and what he's doing. And hopefully that helps us understand how to hopefully work with Mr. Vos. So that's where DeSantis is at, Mr. DeSantis. All right, moving along, we got Colorado and Maryland governors want marijuana rescheduling finalized ASAP amid reports of DEA resistance. So still going back to the rescheduling from 1 to 3. As far as the class goes, there's a lot of talk. Oh, is this good? It hasn't gone through yet. So again, it's in that phase where people can write letters to give analysis of the financial impact on communities and stuff. But even that, now we've got reports that the DEA leadership has pushed back against the Department of Health and Human Services and the Justice Department proposal, moving from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. Looks like, what do we got here? Colorado governor and Maryland governor told Marijuana Moment on Friday that while they can't speak to the potential internal conflict, they're urging the administration to move forward expeditiously. Don't hear that word too often. Mohican says, I will volunteer to be with this Wisconsin cannabis. All right, there you go. We would need a tester. We need all kinds of stuff. I don't think either of us would be the ones to know if there's some internal matter, Paula said during the virtual joint event. But the sooner this can be completed, the better, he said, which just makes sense. And I think they're still pushing that they should have an open discussion about this, which again would be great to see in Wisconsin as well. When there's opposition, to make sure this isn't just some ploy or some paid off by some other sector. Why can't we have an open discussion? Why is everything behind closed doors? You can't comment on it. Oh, we just can't let it lead to recreational. But why? Why really? Talk about this. It's so frustrating. And it looks like they've still got that going on, even with the whole rescheduling. They quoted here as saying, this action for the president is pro-freedom, reduces taxes, helps our economy, improves public safety, and supports where over 30 states are with regards to some degree of medical marijuana legalization. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to have a public debate. The gentleman had said that he granted several rounds of cannabis pardons for thousands of cases. Governors are really on the front line of cannabis policy, which makes sense because obviously most states, it's in their hands, the ones that have gone legal. So that's going to put a lot of the power of cannabis reform onto the governors. But there's a lot more to be done, he said, emphasizing the need for Congress to pass bipartisan legislation to protect banks that work with state legal cannabis businesses, for example. Makes sense. We know that's one of the big issues when it comes to cannabis business, probably the well, I suppose there's a few different avenues that really all impact, but man, it's got to be weird not having complete financial backing from a bank. It just sounds so weird with how everything is driven through a bank, your house payments, your car payments, business loans, everything. And there's a reason they keep building more and more fancier banks, so it's interesting that they haven't been able to figure out a way to get the banks involved with cannabis business. Have to see where that ends up going. But again, I think the stuff happening behind closed doors, we deserve some kind of knowledge of what the hell's actually going on. I mean, am I crazy? Just makes sense to me. As we're moving forward on this issue as a state, he said, and the federal government continues to move forward on this issue when it comes to the rescheduling of cannabis. We also know that you cannot celebrate the benefits of legalization if you're not willing to wrestle with the consequences of criminalization. That's beautifully put. Beautifully put. Rescheduling is just the first step. There's still more to do. There's still more to do on the statewide level. There's still more to do on the federal level. Amen to that. So we'll have to see what shakes out. It looks like they tried checking in with the DEA, and all they really said is the DEA has not yet made a determination as to its views of the appropriate schedule for marijuana. The document said, even before the formal announcement, it had been reported that certain DEA officials had been at odds with the Biden administration over the rescheduling push. So we'll see how that shakes out. We'll be keeping an eye on that. The evidence is there, folks. The reports have been done, or the studies in this case for rescheduling. I mean, it should be descheduled. But even just from the 1 to 3 now, it's still here we wait, and we can't hear what they're talking about. We can't hear what the actual concerns are. If it is just money coming from somewhere else, man, I hope we can figure out a way to find out one day, because it is frustrating. But so yeah, we're over here in the land of prohibition, and then we've got some cool stuff going on. California to welcome cannabis for sale and consumption at the state fair. That'd be beautiful to see one day here in the lovely state of Wisconsin. So it looks like they hold their fair every July, and it'll be the first U.S. state fair to feature on-site marijuana dispensaries and competitions. Pretty dope. Quite literally, pretty dope. So I wanted to dive into this. Hopefully it goes well out there and they don't make it look, put a bad rap on cannabis and this gets shut down. I feel like California is usually, one to test the waters before a lot of other states, and hopefully they rock it and it turns out great. We'll have to see how that goes. And it looks like the fair planners on Tuesday announced the decision to allow visitors to buy and use cannabis at the 17-day event. Holy shit. 17 days. Can you imagine what a booth for 17 days they're going to charge for a dispensary? Begins July 12th, touting it as a watershed moment in the relationship between weed and the U.S., where about half of Americans now live in states where marijuana is legalized. Hosting, here's a quote from, this looks like the co-founder of the company preparing to manage the experimental marijuana dispensary at the state's fair. He's quoted as saying, hosting cannabis sales and consumption is a groundbreaking milestone in destigmatizing. Jesus, it's been a long day. All right. Just give me a second here. Destigmatization by facilitating a deeper connection between consumers and the farmers who cultivate their products with such care. Boom. Would love to see this in Wisconsin exactly for that reason. Deeper connection between the consumer and the people who put in the blood, sweat, and tears to grow it. Beautiful. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can grow at home, but if you're out at the fair and you want to buy something, be able to talk to the farmer, I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. Tactical's in here. What's up, Tac? Thank you, sir. Heather says, right. Heather's got the back here. And then Mohican says they don't want to cut their budget by dropping the low-hanging fruit. Cannabis arrests are easy. Yeah, that's true, sadly. So he goes in here a little deeper talking about it. Looks like Carpenter also said the upcoming edition of the fair, held in the state capital of Sacramento, would broaden an educational cannabis exhibit and cultivation awards competition that debuted in 2022. That'd be awesome. Obviously, I think anytime you got a chance to gather people and have education for pretty much any topic, but especially cannabis, at a state fair, that's really neat. That's awesome. That is groundbreaking. And then I think cultivation awards. What's not to love about that? That's I really like that. Great idea. Cannabis sales through the on-site dispensary. Um, Cannabis sales through Embark's on-site dispensary. The expanded exhibit and awards competition all become possible after the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, signed legislation authorizing licensed cannabis events, for which the state fair had advocated. She added that all the new elements, in her opinion, were a major step forward for responsible normalization. Love the wording on that. Their purpose is to showcase the plant alongside various California agricultural staples, including wine, cheese, olive oil, and craft beer. Out here in Wisconsin, it would definitely be cheese, definitely be the beer. We got some wine out there. So, yeah, we'd be pretty similar setup. Get cannabis in there. Summerfest, I feel like cannabis would work out great down there. The exhibit and competition. Want to see what they were looking at there. The contest added product categories aimed at pre-rolls, concentrates, cartridges, edibles, beverages, and wellness products, among other new components. Nice. The expanded contest had drawn more than 500 entries, which was double the amount sent in for 2023. That's pretty dope. Said here that the competition would provide patrons the opportunity to directly engage with and consume winning brands. There you go. Spread the winning brands. And eventually transform public understanding of the plant. Let's go. I'm loving this. Public understanding of the plant. That right there. I just want to see that on a billboard. I mean, it is Cali, so sometimes it can be taken as a little far out there. But when it comes to testing the waters for cannabis, I would think they are a pretty good advocate for that. Just being how cannabis has been such a part of the community out there for some time. So I want to see if there's anything else on here. On-site sales and consumption in designated areas. Platform to amplify California's rich botany and diverse backgrounds. To that end, the FDA. So that's really kind of what they get into. Oh, here we go. A 30,000 square foot consumption lounge where attenders over the age of 21 would be able to try products from farms and brands across the state. Holy smokes, folks. 30,000 square foot consumption lounge. Yeah, meet me at the weed tent. No kidding. That's pretty dope. 30,000 square feet. That's awesome. That's how many people fit in 30,000 square feet? I feel like that's a lot. But hey, that's more power to you, man. Hopefully, like they say, they keep the education in there. Not everyone's looking to just get messed up. Enjoy the plant, enjoy the cannabis, enjoy being around others, and enjoy cannabis at a state fair. Are you kidding me? Yes, that's awesome. Kudos to them for moving in this direction. And again, hopefully everyone takes it seriously and is smart about it. Responsible consumption, that kind of thing. Lay it down, Callie. Show them how it's done. I'll back you on this initiative. That's for sure. So yeah, major props to Callie. This sounded most interesting. Inside Slio, inside the racetrack were crazy. I can imagine. Mohican, I can definitely imagine. When it comes to, we touch on this a lot, how nothing with cannabis is ever seemingly cut and dry. Japan has a crackdown on cannabis and CBD that quote throws a booming market into uncertainty, end of quote. And Heather, bingo. High people are so much better than drunk people. I would go to so many more sport. I can't remember the last time like a sporting event where I legit was just excited. Like now it's awesome to figure out tickets to a Packer game, that kind of stuff. But I get amped up and then I'm like, oh, I gotta deal with all these rowdy, annoying drunk people. Like, I can figure it out, but it's just a pain in the ass to deal with these rowdy folk. Where again, if we could ever get cannabis at sporting events, your boy, we'd have to move to Potcast. I would be out at sporting events way more often. Watching the Packers, watching the Yankees. Yes, I'm a diehard Yankee fan. Brewers, Brewers are good too. Go Brewers. As long as you're not playing the Yankees, you can win. Japan CBD industry is about to lose its high, this article says. The government passed a series of revisions late last year to its once murky narcotics law. Reform hashed out. Questions zoom over what the changes will mean for the flourishing and until now freewheeling industry of cannabis-derived products. But it looks like, according to several draft regulations, which were unveiled last month and are undergoing public consultation until the end of June, it looks like they are severely restricting how much THC in cannabis and legal CBD products can contain. So again, going back to the Farm Bill in the U.S., that's what allows the hemp-derived products to be made. It's 0.3% THC that the cap is set at. Japan's proposed new cap would be 0.001%. Damn. So from 0.3 to 0.001, I don't even think that's possible. I feel like even hemp has, like the hempus of hemp, like the CBD of CBD. There is some THC in CBD. So that seems very unrealistic to go from 0.3 to 0.001. And even lower for beverages and products in other forms. Oh, so 0.001 for oils, and then lower for some other forms. This sounds terrible for the CBD industry. It says right here, effectively banning the substance altogether, as some regional neighbors like China have recently moved to do. If it goes through, I would say 90% of the businesses will go out of business. Said the founder of a cannabis brand out there. Close to none of the CBD products being sold in Japan will be able to adhere to the 0.001% THC limit. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Having been in the hemp industry, hemp has some THC. Usually it's not enough for you to feel it unless you're getting some of the newer, like where they do the extractants, the Delta 9, that kind of stuff. This is silly though. This is like saying, I'm trying to think. Well, so I feel like decaf coffee probably even has a minute amount of coffee. Maybe I'm wrong, or a minute amount of caffeine. It's like trying to take that just doesn't make sense. You can't take all of the THC out of hemp. Right? I don't think it's physically possible for the plant. That's what I'm thinking. So it sounds like they've got some issues going on out there as far as the CBD products. It's very similar to Wisconsin out there, it sounds like, where they've been having good luck with the hemp-derived products. And then now with this law, that would basically shut everything down. I mean, that's silly, in my opinion. You got to stay realistic, and this, to me, is another case of lack of education. Some people see THC and they're like, oh, that's the bad stuff. You need to understand what you're doing, folks. You should not be in control of being able to vote on a policy if you don't have some kind of sit-down education for more than, like it, at least like a week course, 4 hours a day. Like there's so much to the plant and the different parts of the plant. This is just silly. This is uneducated. And this, unfortunately, is what a lot of what we're dealing with in Wisconsin politics, in my opinion. So it's not just us, folks. It is out there all over the place. And we just got to keep at it, man. That's all we can do. We got to keep at it. Alex is here. What's up, fam? What's up, my man? Coming up next, we've got older patients using medical cannabis experience considerable improvement in health and well-being. Let's go. Yes, Heather, they need to stop being closed-minded. 100%. 100%. 100%. That is bingo. Bingo, what's his name-o? New study on the impacts of medical marijuana on older adults finds that cannabis-based products may provide multiple therapeutic benefits for the demographic, including for health, well-being, sleep, and mood. Authors also observed sizable reductions in pain severity and pain interference among older-aged patients who are reporting chronic pain as their primary condition. Again, this is a lot of stuff that you and I know. It is just always nice to see where these studies are coming from and try to get this out to the rest of the public, especially the Republican Party in Wisconsin. The research published this week in the journal Drugs and Aging. That's an interesting journal, title, but it makes sense nonetheless. is meant to address what authors call a general paucity of high quality research around cannabis in older adults and a common wow, we got some big words tonight, folks. I don't think I've ever said this word in my life before, so bear with me. It's not that hard. It's just when you're talking to people and you don't know a word, it's trippy. Methodological practice of excluding those aged over 65 years from clinical trials. And again, this was at a time when older patients are increasingly turning to medical marijuana for relief. That is the beauty. Tactical says, was Bingo the dog's name or the farmer's name? Old McDonald had farm. Yeah. Wait, is that Bingo? Was his name? I think that's the dog. Could definitely be wrong. Let's get a poll going. Was Bingo the dog's name or the farmer's name? That's the Friday question of the day, folks. Don't think too hard on it. Don't think too not hard on it. Find it the hawk middle of that. Oh God, I had made it like 5 hours without thinking of that video. That is just everywhere. It will leave it at that. International evidence that older individuals may be the fastest growing increase in the use of medical marijuana. Let's go. Coupled with their frequent exclusion from controlled trials, indicates growing need for real world evidence to assess the effectiveness and safety of these drugs for older individuals. Let's get it. Spit on that thing. Golly. I tell you what, man. Society is never endingly awesome sometimes. So they did a 5-person research team from the UK-based organization Drug Science and Imperial College, London Center for Neuropsychopharmacology. Holy shit. Put that in a spelling bee. I'm out. Looked at data from T21, a large observational study of individuals seeking prescribed cannabis for a range of primary conditions. How many people did they test? That's always what I like to kind of see here. So they did 3-month follow-ups, well-being, and using many different measures. Older individuals, most noticed after the age of 65. Failed to distinguish older individuals over 55 years of age. CBD dominant oil and less likely to receive THC dominant flower by prescription. So that was for the patients over 64. They were more likely to receive CBD dominant oil. Hey, Joe, thanks for swinging by. Happy Friday. Mohican says, Old McDonald had a dog and Bingo was his name-o. So Bingo was the dog. Hey, there you go. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. But if you're asked on the spot, that's tricky. I think Tactical was just trying to go with me here on catch me slipping on the live. I see what you're doing, Tac. Very tactical of you, Smoke Break. Wonder where you got your name. Federally funded study last year, meanwhile, found that cannabis and psychedelic use were both at historic highs. Also, is according to another study. So, always like to try to end things on a good note. I would say this is a good note. There's just getting to be more and more studies done out there. Try to help with our educational efforts to get the damn people educated on cannabis. But again, I think the hardest is obviously getting through to the politicians. But if we stay on our neighbors, our friends, our family, who aren't, not everyone has to use cannabis. Okay, let's start with that. But the people who look down on you for using it or still have that stigma, those are the folks we need to educate because they can help control our access to something that helps us, the people, and we can get them to stand behind us just like we would do if there was something for them that would better their lives that we don't necessarily use, but we know it helps a large majority of people. And there's studies to back it. Like, yeah, I'm going to help my neighbor out. We don't need them, boycotting their work because they test for cannabis or anything like that. But just keep informing the people around you. That's really all we can do. And we got to stay on top of it. So just a reminder, weather permitting, I think it's going to be okay. I think we're going to make the trip either way, but we will be in Pewaukee tomorrow from 10 to 2, me and my wife. We're going to be over at Green Swan Hemp, part of the beach days they got going on down there. It'd be nice to get out and spend some time with some folks in the community down there. Shout out to Pete and the Green Swan Hemp Co. that he runs down there. Looking forward to it. If you're in the area, make sure you swing by. It is Clark County is horrible. I know, Jill. It is frustrating. I don't know if you've had any luck getting a hold of your your representative or your senator, but we need to try to stay on them because we are hounding. But it sure seems like it's going to take a constituent. I don't know if you got a couple other people down there too. You can have help send an email to those folks. But hopefully we'll catch you guys out, catch a couple of you out tomorrow at the Pewaukee. Hope you guys have a great Friday night. We'll be back at it Monday. And until then, just make sure you're consuming responsibly, educating responsibly, and just overall enjoying your day. So, Bobby Beans, we're out of here. Hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll check in again next week. All right. See you guys.